Hi there, I'm Nancy Herring from Now We're Cooking. It's Tuesday, so it's time for tips, tricks, and treats. We're a week out from Mardi Gras, so today we're going to make king cake. This is something that if we lived in Louisiana or Mobile, Alabama, or the places that truly celebrate Mardi Gras, we would be able to find them everywhere and everyone would have their own favorite recipe. When I first heard about king's cake, I'm thinking cake. It's really a sweetbread. And you decorate it with the colors of Mardi Gras, and that's how it gets its name. They're not always the prettiest thing to look at, but oh my goodness, they are so delicious. The whole deal about Mardi Gras is it's basically a Catholic or Anglican celebration because it's the day before Ash Wednesday. So you need to celebrate as much as you can and use up all the rich ingredients because Lent is a time of fasting and contemplation. So that's where all of it comes from. Because it's a yeast bread, I have already made the dough, and I'll talk about how I did that. It's a very easy recipe to make. And what was interesting to me is you don't rise it out on the counter in a warm spot. You put it in a bowl and you put it in the refrigerator for about an hour. So I've got this lovely ball of dough, and it's a rich dough. There's eggs in it, and there's a little bit of sugar, so it's a little bit heavier than some doughs are. So I just push the air out of it, or as my mom says, punch it down. And what I want to do is I want to roll it into a rectangle. And it says, like 20 by 10, I don't know. I do it about as big as I can, and I'm not overly concerned if it's a true square or not. I mean, I've seen people do things like this where they get out their ruler and they get out their yardstick, and I'm like, really? This rolling mat, which I really like, it's a silicone rolling mat that has a little tacky on the bottom so it does not move around, does have calibrations on the side. So you can kind of get an idea, but you're looking for something that's vaguely square. Traditionally, I would fill it, slit it, and braid it, and then form it into a circle. I'm not going to be traditional. I'm just going to fill it and roll it like you might a giant cinnamon roll and do it that way, because I sprung a leak yesterday when I did it that way, and I don't want to do that with a filled loaf. The inside is brown sugar and butter and cinnamon, and I want to get it spread out as much as possible because I'm going to roll it like a cinnamon roll. If I can't get it to cover all of it, I'm going to put a little bit of cinnamon sugar around the edges, just because. The other way to do this, which is the way I do cinnamon rolls, would be to melt the butter, use a pastry brush, and then sprinkle it with brown sugar and cinnamon sugar. So whichever way you think you can get the filling in the best. And what I'm going to do after we get this done, you rise it once in the fridge, fill it, shape it, let it rise again, and then bake it. So this is our second rising, and check it out. It's not quite as full as I want it to be, but we're going to work with it and see what we can do. So I'm going to smear it around, and then I do have some cinnamon sugar made up, and I think I'm going to sprinkle a little bit in the edges that don't seem as full as others. It's kind of like putting dabbing lotion on or something. It's a very strange texture, but it's always good to play with your food, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so, and I think there's a few little spots that would be more fun to have filling. So I'm going to take my cinnamon sugar, which I put in a good safe spot, and just shake it over it. And if you think there's spots that, a little too much, a little too little, no one's gonna say, oh, my piece didn't have the same filling as someone else's piece. So I'm gonna cover it so that every piece has a little goodie in it. There's also a cream cheese filling, but I like the cinnamon sugar filling the best. So, got all my spots covered. I'm gonna roll it into a tight as I can roll. This is the part where I could fold it in half, squish it, cut it in strips and braid it. But I just want you to picture all the filling that would have the potential to come out when you do it that way. And I do want this as tight as possible, because you'll get some air pockets and you want as few air pockets as possible. So I want to get it sealed up, and I'm just gonna crimp and pinch with my fingers and kind of roll it to seal it. I've got a giant snake now. And what I want to do is form it into a ring. So I want the ends to be a little bit, I've got a lot of goodie in the middle and not as many on the ends. So I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna do it this way. I'm gonna just kind of stick these together, knowing that that piece by the seam probably will not have enough filling as the other pieces. But I want to crimp it into a circle. And can you see right there that there's still a little bit of part that didn't, pinching is overrated sometimes, I think, but it doesn't always pinch the way you want it to do, but that's the beauty of doing it. So I'm going to transfer it to my, you need to put it on a cookie sheet that has either a silicone mat like this or parchment paper or something, because invariably you're going to spring a leak and you don't want butter and cinnamon and sugar all over your cookie sheet. So it just sits and rises. They say about an hour. Watch it, because you can get just the biggest thing going on in an hour. I only let it rise for about half an hour, and then it only bakes for about 20 to 25 minutes. So I'm going to put it in the oven, in the fridge to retard it, because I'm not going to bake it right now. So, okay, you've got this lovely thing. What do you do with it? Once you've got a baked round king cake, then the next step is to make a glaze out of powdered sugar and cream and vanilla. It's not really a frosting. It doesn't stay on top. You want to glaze it, and then the traditional topping is sprinkles. So I'll show you what we did yesterday. The colors of Mardi Gras are purple, yellow, and gold. And so in whatever pattern you prefer, we've got, this was yesterday's, and can you see right here, I did kind of spring a leak, but hey, nobody cared. We put the glaze, which is white. As soon as the glaze hits that, have your sprinkles ready and sprinkle in the colors in the pattern that you choose. So this is what we made yesterday. This is what I was saying, when you want to roll it tight. Can you see that I do have a couple of air pockets in here? Well, that's okay with me, but it would be nicer if it was tighter. So it's a basic yeast dough. You put milk and sugar and salt in the microwave or in a pan on the stove and heat it till it's about 120. You put 2 cups of flour in your mixer bowl with a packet of yeast. You stir those wet and dry together, get them all combined. It's a rich dough, so at that point you put 2 eggs one at a time in your batter. And then you've got about a cup of flour to go. So you take 6 tablespoons of butter and you cut it up into 7 or 8 chunks. And you add flour and butter and flour and butter till the butter is all incorporated, until you've got a dough that cleans the bowl. And then you knead it a couple times on your mat, and then you put it in your oiled bowl with the saran wrap and put it in the fridge. So it's a super easy to make dough. It's not, the only things you need to worry about are how hot is the milk, and that's when instant read thermometer is an excellent tool, because that tells you what's going on. And then, you know, the only special equipment I use with the thermometer, love my rolling mat and my rolling pin. So make a king's cake. Next week is Mardi Gras. It's a fun holiday to celebrate. It's fun to pretend you're down there. We don't have any parades here, but hey, let those good times roll. Won't be doing a video next week because we're going to Chicago for the International Housewares Show. So we're going to find out everything that's new and exciting in our industry. And we'll be sure to have new things coming as we get home from that. So in the meantime, celebrate Mardi Gras, make a king cake, come shopping at Now We're Cooking. We're open Monday through Saturday from 11 to 4. We'd love to see you in here. And as I say, let those good times roll. See you next time. Bye now.